Joining me now is India Today's news director Rahul Kanwal. Rahul, 195 seats. It's an immediate strategy to show that while the India bloc may still be struggling with seat sharing, we have almost 200 candidates ready. Take us through what your perspective is of this list that has been announced specifically for the names that have been retained in Uttar Pradesh and the surprises, for example, in Kerala and other states.
Pooja, look at the fact that the last time elections were announced around the 10th of March and the BJP's first list in 2019 came out almost 2 weeks later on the 21st. This time elections are likely to be announced somewhere between the 13th and the 15th. That's the current buzz. And the BJP almost 2 weeks before the announcement of elections has gone out and announced the names of almost twice the candidates who were suggested to be announced today. The earlier sense was that about 100 names would be announced. This is almost twice that at 195. And they've also announced it 2 weeks prior to what they did in 2019. Clearly, they've been buoyed by the experiment in the recent assembly elections where, because they announced candidates much in advance, those candidates had better preparation on the ground and were able to put out a better fight. They've kept that in mind. Just also remember, they've pushed their ministers to the edge of their levels of comfort. Someone like a Rajiv Chandrasekharan, when he has to take on Shashi Tharoor in Trivandrum. You know, ideally, someone like a Rajiv Chandrasekharan would have preferred one of the seats in Karnataka. But and remember, they've been in the election before last, Shashi Tharoor didn't win by a very big margin. His margin was just about 10,000 odd votes. So the BJP wanting to push him, they've really, even if you see in Telangana, those leaders who lost in the recent assembly elections have been made to fight the Lok Sabha seat because they're saying, okay, we're not, there's no point in idling around the assembly if we're going to be in opposition for so long. It's better to push our big guns and to try and win. So they're really pushing the extremes of what is possible. And Prime Minister Modi taking that mission 370 very seriously, doing whatever it takes, getting leaders from the BSP, getting them in from other parties, giving them the opportunity to fight. And if a small state like Delhi, they found their MPs weren't up to the task, not shying away from mass change, Pooja.
Very interesting. Rahul, don't you think that to give opportunities also to these younger faces, for example, Bansuri Swaraj or Anil Antony, while of course retaining the old big guns, whether it's Rajnath Singh from Lucknow, Hema Malini returns for Mathura, or of course Prime Minister Modi from Varanasi and Home Minister Amit Shah from Gandhinagar. They've kept it a mixed bag, looking at possibly as much as the winnability factor and as what next for the generation among the politicians in BJP.
You know, when in election mode,
the
BJP puts pragmatism first. You know, once they're in government mode or manifesto mode, that's when they look at ideology and other such things. When you're fighting an election, the only thing that seems to matter most is who can help us win or who can take us as close as possible to winning, which is really what they've kept in mind. It is in the relatively safe seats where they think, okay, maybe because now you've got, say, an AAP and a Congress together, even if we won the last time, if our MPs don't have a good perception, then it's better to change them and to bring newer faces in. At least the anti-incumbency gets washed away. That's an experiment the BJP tried very successfully in states like Gujarat, where even though you're winning, you know that there is local anti-incumbency against your candidate, against your MLA or MP, change him. So a lot of those experiments coming in, this is really the best oiled political machine in the country, arguably amongst the best oiled political parties in the world, and they're going all guns blazing, even as others are, whether they're in Cambridge or elsewhere, still trying to figure out what they want to do and are far from being able to announce seat-sharing pacts, apart from just being able to announce actual candidates for seats. These guys are going all out to try and get as close to the mission that the Prime Minister has declared, Pooja.
One more question, and I'm sure you've been speaking to these BJP leaders as well. There were in the past few days, there have been meetings and discussions that started late into the night, went early till morning. It's been a grand internal survey that has been done over the past few months. So this has clearly been a deliberation and discussion over months. Hectic parlays must have been done within the BJP corridors for this.
You know, from what I understand from sources within the Prime Minister's office, each MP has a report card which has been looked at. So while the party comes with its own report card, so the party Adhyaksh, Nadda ji comes with his assessment of the candidate, The RSS gives its own assessment of, the feedback from the Karyakartas on the ground. The Prime Minister's office has its own assessment according to different criteria about how they've been looking at the programs of the party, popularizing them, working on the ground, how accessible have they been. Each MP is, benchmarked basis the criteria that's been laid out. So it's not an exercise that's done whimsically. It's an exercise that's taken very seriously. And there are rationale for, you see some of these ministers have been not given seats, so some people have been moved around. There is a rationale that the party has in its mind. So it's not, a lot of, say, what will happen in the India alliance may be done out of majburi, because you really have no option but to accommodate certain interests. This is done from a position of strength. Someone like Hema Malini, whether she deserves to be a candidate again in Mathura can be argued both ways. But the fact is that the BJP thinks she brings utility to the party ticket, which is why she's been given that seat. So the BJP is really trying to the extent possible, deal with anti-incumbency where they felt some anti-incumbency was building up and where they wanted strong candidates on the ground in states like Uttar Pradesh, not necessarily tinkering and tweaking too much.